Great. So now we'll provide some brief information about the application process and new resources that the Conservancy has developed to assist potential grantees. And as Amy mentioned, the applications may be submitted on an ongoing rolling basis, and so they'll be accepted and evaluated when they are received. It's generally a two-step process to apply, but if needed, applicants can request a technical assistance consultation with the regional manager covering their project area to discuss project eligibility. This can be a simple email contact to the regional manager with a short elevator pitch of the project idea first to get feedback, or scheduling a brief call to discuss the project details. This can be really beneficial, especially if there's any concern about basic eligibility or project type being a good fit with the Coastal Conservancy's strategic plan goals and funding priorities. The regional manager can provide helpful feedback to assist the applicant in deciding whether the project concept and team is developed well enough, whether the lead entity and project goals are eligible, and if it's beneficial to spend time on preparing a pre-application. But in many cases, people may choose to go directly to submitting a pre-application as the most efficient first step. The pre-application will be reviewed by the regional manager and staff, who will reply within 60 days. If a pre-application meets the Conservancy's eligibility criteria and there's available Conservancy funding for the project, applicants will be invited to submit a full application. The Conservancy will again respond within 60 days on whether a grant award will be recommended. Our staff will evaluate applications based on the project selection criteria. You may be asked to participate in an application interview and/or a site visit to provide additional information during the review process. All of this is so that we can work with applicants in order to best understand the local environmental and community details as we review a wide diversity of project types. We want to support partners and help all types and sizes of entities in succeeding with applying for our funds. The regional managers are listed here, and contact information can be found on our website. Next slide. So who is eligible for Coastal Conservancy grants? That includes public agencies, including local, state, and federal agencies, federally recognized tribes, nonprofits with 501c3 status, and non-federally recognized tribes and others via fiscal sponsor. There are typical grant amounts of $200,000 to $5 million, but there's no set minimum or maximum that you can apply for. The allowable project activities, as Amy started to mention, include land acquisitions, planning of all types, which can include feasibility studies, design planning, and permitting, as well as community engagement. And then we also fund implementation projects. So that can include project execution of all types, construction work, as well as workforce development and monitoring and adaptive management. Next slide. To be competitive for funding, projects need to be able to make strong linkages to our strategic plan goals and our project selection criteria, which I'll discuss in the next slide. But these are some of the examples of project types that we do fund: land acquisitions and conservation easements, habitat restoration and enhancement, whether it's planning, design, or implementation, climate, sea level rise, and wildfire resilience, nature-based adaptation, waterfront access and resilience planning, and multi-benefit projects. Next slide. We also fund public access to the coast and public input and involvement in project development and implementation. This includes tribally led projects, including land return and acquisitions, trails and recreational facilities and amenities, lower cost overnight accommodations, and projects of all types to expand accessibility to the coast. We wanted to highlight a few of the project activities that can be funded and that we're have an increasing focus on in our strategic plan. That includes community engagement and involvement and co-design of projects. So not just giving the community input, but ensuring integration of community input into the design and community leadership in the project itself. We also are interested to fund workforce development if it's connected to a specific project. And this can include environmental work trainings, apprenticeships, and job opportunities for local community members to get engaged. Next slide. Conservancy staff have prepared new resources and guidance to clarify the application process and streamline the steps to applying for our grants. We want to help make the process efficient at each step for grantees and partners that have limited time and may need clearer guidance on what the Coastal Conservancy funds and how our grant process requirements work. We're committed to increasing the reach and accessibility to Conservancy grants, and we want to further engage local communities and support community-led efforts. So some key new resources on our website include a new grant application guide, pre-application and full application templates, and links to other resources, including technical assistance webinars. The regional managers and staff are available to give feedback on initial project ideas in order to help determine eligibility and fit with available funding and avoid the need to submit a pre-application if the project won't be considered. The shorter pre-application form is designed to be more straightforward to complete, share high-level information on the proposed project, and confirm whether a project is a good fit before spending the time developing a full application. Next slide. So the new grant application guide is on our website, and the link is here. It provides step-by-step instructions on completing a pre or full application for the Coastal Conservancy. You can use this guide as you go through your application to help answer questions and provide the appropriate information. And this guide includes a full overview of all of the main steps, the templates to use, and an application checklist to help make sure that all required information is included in your submittals. The guide also includes links to our strategic plan and funding priorities, and additional resources and technical assistance webinars here at these links. This is all also on the grants page of our website. Next slide. So I just wanted to briefly show the project selection criteria, which are key to consider in developing any kind of project application. We look at whether the project is a good investment of state resources, whether it helps the Conservancy accomplish our strategic plan, includes a serious effort to engage tribes, provides benefits that will be sustainable or resilient over the project lifespan, projects that deliver multiple benefits and significant positive impact, and they were or will be planned with meaningful community engagement and broad community support. Next slide. We also wanted to highlight a few key grant requirements to be aware of. These are reimbursable grants. You do the work first and then invoice the Conservancy, and that can be from monthly to quarterly. All grants must be authorized by the Coastal Conservancy Board, and we have 5 meetings per year, so it's important to plan carefully for those. After board authorization, a grant agreement is signed by the Conservancy and grantee. You'll need a resolution from your governing body to accept the grant and sign the grant agreement. And you provide a task-based work program and budget, including for subcontractors, which clearly helps describe the work, the schedule, and the deliverables of the grant. There's about a $2 million insurance coverage that's typically required for most grants, but you can talk about that with the regional managers in terms of the scale and activities that are specific to your project. But it is important to be aware of these requirements because you cannot start work on the grant until there's an agreement in place and all conditions of the grant have been approved. So now I'll turn it over to Joel, who'll share a bit more about guidance on the pre-application process.
Thank you, Mara.